So here is a potential board of what my version could be. Okay. Now, first things first, because these are pieces I made off of Board Game Maker. I did all of these pieces. Actually, I made them via um, it's a Dungeons and Dragons map making tool, and I went into Photoshop and kind of did some extra touches on them. Each of these pieces, or at least like the squares, are 1 inch, and so like on on a normal game, you have a lot more room to work with the square, but there's plenty of space here. The only thing I wish that I had is something to keep everything more so kind of boxed in. But just before we start going off here, kind of explain what is going on because you're probably thinking to yourself, man, there's a lot going on here. The first things first, in a normal game, you have a section here that has your sometimes it's river, sometimes it is a lake. The point is you can't bypass it, and that's still the same here. These uh, black box just means you just cannot bypass this. In my version, there are kind of double that, and these are set up every time at random. In a normal game, it would be uh, nothing, lake, and nothing. So there's always just the two lakes in the middle there. Again, this is just kind of set up at any way that I really want it. And I'll get to board setup here in just the next minute. But the other thing is, so your actual armies, how it works is that it is 4 rows down in the original. Yeah, oops, no, it's 4. There we go. Sorry, I am trying to count through the phone. Anyway, so yeah, there's 4 rows down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 10 rows over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I mean, this would cover up your entirety of your army, and you'd place all 40 of your pieces here. Obviously, in this version here, there is an extra 4 rows you can do stuff with. So the point for that is that you don't have to have all your guys all clumped up into one section. You could potentially have, 4 guys here. You could have 3 guys here, so it's however you want to do it. You don't have to use all of the space given to you. I mean, well, you can't because unless you had like 80 guys, but this version still uses the 40 guy rule for it. One of the other things is both armies or both sides have the same amount of these different options here. So they're just in different orders, which leads me to how do you set up? Well, truth be told, it's up to you. I have tried to think of ways to have it work. Um, you could have them all the pieces upside down, and you could flip them all up. I mean, like this this here, if someone said, man, I really want to play your version of this, I mean, you could easily make these pieces out of like cardboard and paper. You can do either anything of the sort. um, Again, these are technically 2 inches by 2 inches, and these ones are 1 inch by 1 inch. But anyway, so you could put all the pieces in a bag and just kind of draw them out at once. Probably the way I like the best is that you have, again, your d6s, and if you rolled like a 1 through 3, then it would be you'd pull out a small piece, and then a 4 through 6 you pull out a big piece until you've filled all the rows up. You could also have it be where you set up your opponent's side of the board and they set up yours. In this version, I literally just put pieces where they fit, just to show you guys quickly what a board could look like. Um, so, again, totally is up to you. There is no right way. It's whatever you think is best. So, let's go ahead here and let this actually probably be, it might be maybe just a one part, but it might be a two part, because I want to show you too what each of these, or what each, which each side could look like based off of, with actual guides and pieces on the board. But the first things first is I want to talk about what each of these areas do, because in this version of the game, where you stand is huge. I mean, it really adds a lot of different, again, the word comes to it, strategy of what you can do. So first things first, a lake area, it doesn't do anything, it's just a barrier. A piece cannot go into the lake, they can't jump over it, which there is an exception to that rule when I talk about ranks and their special skills. So they essentially have to go around it. As you can guess, the red is for the red side, the blue is for the blue side, and white, that's just to show that it is starting off as a no one controlled zone. In a original game, your pieces have to start on their side. You can't start a piece in the no man land, and so that's still is the rule now. Once the game starts, you can move pieces into it, but as you start the game, you have to keep them within the confines of your starting area here. Anyway, so your basic green tile, which I just call the grasslands, they don't do anything. And you can see some of these are in giant 2 inch by 2 inch. Some of these are in 1 inch by 1 inch. They don't do anything. You don't get any special like advantages or disadvantages. You don't get anything of the sort. Nothing is different there. They're just plain and simply boring. They're neutral areas. The next one here that I'd like to talk about is the forts. So forts come in two different versions. They come in a small fort and they come in big forts. The difference is the defense bonus that you can get to it. So I'm going to go ahead and let's show this example again here. I got a 2, or in the newer versions, a 9 on the plain and simple boring grasslands. And then I'm going to fight against this piece here, who I don't know what it is yet, but for the sake of the video, I have attacked it, and it's that same pesky 4 or 7 in the newer versions. So how this works is a small fort, you get a +2 to your defense. So I go ahead and I roll here. Ooh, I got a 5. So making my 9 plus 5, I got a 14. The 4 rolls, and he got a 5, which is fairly good. Again, he is a 7. So 7 plus 5 is 12. Well, normally I would win, because with my 9 plus my 5, I am a 14. And he would lose his 7 plus 5, making a 12. I win 2 ranks higher. Well, because he is on a fort, and this only goes for the defender, and if you are attacking from a fort, you don't get any extra things. He gets a +2 to his defense, making his roll or his defending rank a 14 also, meaning it's a tie and nothing happens. Now, if that same situation were to happen on the big fort, oops, I'm going to switch these guys. On the big fort here, and I come in, I try to attack him, it's actually a +4 on that one. And so, if we got the exact same things, I still have my 14 because it's 9 plus 5. But he has his 12 plus 4, making his defense rank a 16. So forts are important here. You have X amount of small forts and you have 2 big forts. So that's how that one works. The next one here, and I'm kind of reading off of some notes here, so bear with me, are the mountains. Okay, these gray rock looking areas are the mountains. Now you say to yourself, well, gee, Tommy, can't like mountains be a lot bigger? Well, yes, but we're trying to still fit within the confines of a board here. This is still a board game. So mountains, because they're so big and so massive, they take 2 actions to climb up one. So, let's say I rolled my actions and I have 6, so I should be totally fine. But again, let's say I had rolled a 1. I cannot climb up that mountain because it takes 2 of my actions to move a piece onto a mountain. Not only that, but it takes 2 of my actions, or let's say I was already on the mountain, it takes 2 of my actions to attack a piece that is on a mountain. So it takes actions to attack on the mountain or up the mountain, and it takes actions to move onto the mountain. Now, let's go ahead and assume that I was on the mountain and my opponent was not on a mountain. So what's going on here? Well, plain and simply, how it works is the defender receives a -2 to their defense. So let's go ahead and roll this again. So I got a 2, making mine. So again, we're going off the higher rank, so 9. I have a total of 11. The 4 or the 7 rolls, they got a 4, so they also got an 11 too, but they get a -2 because they are so far down and I'm so far up. So kind of think of it, I'm sitting there and I have my gun and I'm shooting them from the mountain in the safety of the mountain. So even though they also got an 11 as well, because it's -2, they are now back down to a 9 and I would have 1. Now let's say that they got something way higher here, and and they should have 1, even with the -2. They're and again, it's 7 plus 6 -2, so they're what am I thinking of here? 7 plus 6, so they're 13, 11. Okay, now I am drawing a blank here. They're 7 plus 6, they're 13. Okay, so maybe on my last one, my math was off. But be it as it may here, and I hope that you're not saying to yourself, all right, Tommy, you really are sounding really dumb now, because I'm drawing a little bit of a blank here, and it is also 1 in the morning. But anyways, the point I am trying to make here is if the defending rank were to have 1, nothing happens, because they're not able to attack on the mountain unless they have 2. So like this piece here, even if they lose, they still, nothing happens to them. I mean, even if this rank would have rolled higher for him, nothing happens. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense for you here, because that is a little, I mean, like I feel like I didn't explain that super well, but the only exception to that, if the higher ranking, or if the defense is higher, is if it is a 5 or a 7, and I will explain that when we get to the special skills. So yeah, I'm still kind of on the side of, what did I roll the first time? It was a 4. Yeah, it was a 4 that I got. So yeah, my math was right, because it was 7 plus 4. That's an 11. He got a -2 because he's being attacked from someone on a mountain, so he's making it 9, opposed to a 7 plus 6, which is 13, making a -2, going back to the 11 rank. So yeah, I am totally fine. You're saying to yourself, gee, I hope you edit this stuff out, but I probably won't. So again, it takes 2 actions to attack onto a mountain, to move onto a mountain, or attack someone who is also on a mountain alongside with you. The only exceptions, again, are the 5s and the 7s. We will get to those when the time comes. This rule does also apply to the spy as well. The spy can still go ahead and move up and attack up the mountain. It still just takes them 2 ranks, though. Not ranks, but 2 actions for it. The next one we have are forest. So these kind of green tree areas. The forests are pretty much, they negate any special skills. You cannot use your special ability from a forest or into a forest. There are some exceptions to that rule. For instance, if a bomb is in the forest and your 3 or your 8, again, depending on the version that you're playing, tries to defuse it, that still works fine. You know, you can still use that special power. A miner can still use their special skill to defuse the bomb there. But besides that, and I know we haven't talked about any of the special skills yet, you cannot use your special skills into a forest or out of a forest. There are some exceptions, and I will explain those as we go, but they are mostly because it's so thick of a forest, you can't do your special skills. So the next one here are these ones, the desert or sand areas. How this works is anyone that is attacking, okay, and this doesn't apply to the defensive rules, whoever is attacking will roll their dice twice and take the lower 2 of those dice. So again, let's say that I and my 2 here, or my 9 are trying to attack this 7, and I come at them. I go, yeah, buddy, and I go ahead and I roll. Okay, well, I got a 1 because I have to take the lowest. I have to take that 1, even though that 2 is a better roll. I have to take that 1 because I'm attacking from a desert. So a desert is a place that you don't want to be in. You don't want to be in the desert. They are areas that they can be helpful, they can be not as helpful, depending on what side you are in, and how it works. Very last thing, and excuse me, the very last thing is the ice. Ice, whether you are the attacker or the defender, if you are on ice, you will receive a -3 to what you get. So again, you know, let's say that these 2 guys, and they're just my go-to guys, are trying to attack here. He gets a 4, I get a 2. So let's go ahead and we can add up our ranks here. 9 plus 2 is an 11, but because I get a -3 because I'm on ice, I only have technically an 8. 7 plus 4 is also an 11. Well, because they also get a -3. Again, with the ice tiles, it doesn't matter if you are an attacker or a defender. And I just realized here that, oh no, here it is. I was like, I think I only put one ice tile here. No, anyway, so you both receive a -3 whether you are an attacker or a defender. So I know this video is a little bit longer, mostly because halfway through I kind of stopped and was unsure of my math, but then had to go back and think about it and say, no, I was totally right. So again, just kind of the what they call the too long didn't read version of it. Again, if it is a lake, you cannot go over it. You have to go around it. If it is a grassland tile, nothing happens. It's just anything goes. If it is a small fort, it's a +2 to the defense. If it's a big fort, it's a +4. If it is a mountain, it requires 2 actions to climb onto the mountain, or attack onto the mountain, or attack someone else on the mountain alongside with you. If you're attacking anyone who is not on a mountain, they receive a -2. Now again, let's say that you're attacking from here and someone's on that fort. Well, then because they receive a +2, then the bonus just cancels out and it becomes just a 0. And again, if you're attacking anyone who is not on a mountain while you are on a mountain and they rolled and get a higher rank, because they're not on the mountain, nothing happens unless it's a 5 or a 7, which I promise I will get to. Anyone who's on a forest will lose any special skills attacking into the forest or out of the forest. If anyone is on a desert tile, the attacker has to roll the dice twice and takes the lower of the 2. And then finally, anyone who on an ice tile here will receive a -3 to whether or not they are defending or they are the attacker. Again, I know that video is a little bit longer here, but there's a lot of different rules here for how this stuff works. So the next of these videos will be each of the ranks and the special abilities that they have.